In this video we're going to explore a bit more about still images. Let's start with the definition. Basically, a still image is like a picture that is created by you as an actor, and it tells a story through the use of your acting skills such as body language, facial expressions, gestures, posture, proxemics, and other key terminology like that. It can be described like a photograph, where you are positioning yourself and other actors and changing your bodies to suit the mood and setting of the location to communicate to the audience what it is that you are doing. Here is a list of key terms that makes up a good still image. These aren't exclusive, and there are plenty more. Let's start with the use of levels. The use of levels describes the position in which you might sit or whether you might be standing. Now in this picture, all of the people are at the same level. They're all sitting on the chair. That might tell you that they might have all equal status. The use of space refers to how the three actors have used the actual physical space around them, where they might describe the fact that they might not have used that space very well and they might be all bunched together. Or here we've got two people together and one person on their own. Now proxemics describes how well they've used that space to communicate to you, the audience, what is going on in the picture. So the key bit here is the fact that these two characters here are so close, but yet there is a big distance between the two characters and the third character. That might suggest that these two here are together in some way, perhaps ganging up or telling off this girl over here. The third one is stillness, which is fairly obvious in the idea that all the characters need to stay still in a freeze in order for it to be a good still image. The next one is facial expressions, and that describes the face, the look on the face of each of the actors, and how you would then describe that. So perhaps this person here has a look of concern, of worry, whereas this lady here has a look of anger. And you would perhaps describe this person here with a look of boredom, or a look of disgust, or a look of anguish. The next key word there is body language, and that describes what every actor on the scene is doing with their whole body. And here we can see some real differences. We've got this chap here who's got his arms quite close to his mouth there. He's got quite a closed posture, whereas this lady here has got her arms wide open. Now that might also be called a gesture, where she perhaps might be pleading with this third character. But here we've got this person. She's got her arm to her head, suggesting that she's had enough of this. She's closed with her arm here, and her legs are crossed. Something else that's quite important about body language that could be used in the terms of eye contact is that she is looking away, whereas both these two characters are looking towards that third character. Now all of these key words that I've described here, and the other ones which I've mentioned, all work towards this one here, which is clarity. Clarity describes how clear that still image is communicating to you as an audience. That are they in fact communicating that these are two parents, one concerned, one angry with their teenage daughter, who perhaps has done something wrong, but who also perhaps seems to suggest that she gets told off quite a lot, or that perhaps that she's not listening, or perhaps that she disagrees with what they are saying. So it's all about how you can use all these keywords to communicate to an audience in a clear fashion. So what do we use still images for? We use still images for a variety of things. Firstly, we use still images to tell a complete story in performance. Sometimes that story can be quite naturalistic, quite realistic, like the image we've just seen. Sometimes those images can be quite abstract or symbolic. We might use still images also to initially block a large performance. Perhaps we might have a series of still images, and over the process of creating the performance we'll turn those still images into action. We also use still images quite a lot when we're creating chorus work, when we think about our school productions. We can also use our still images to help us inform our performance by helping us to understand our character. So we can use them to perhaps explore different relationships with other characters. We can use them to explore a character's past, key events that have happened in their life that help to inform who they are today. Moving on from that, we can use still images to explore characters' key decisions in both the play that we're studying or creating and in their past lives. So still images are actually slightly different from freeze frames. Freeze frames are moments of acting that have been frozen, but we still use many of the same skills and the same questions that we do when we create still images. So the key difference between freeze frames and still images is that still images we create first, and that their sole purpose is to be still and to communicate to an audience, just that image. Whereas with the freeze frame, the action comes first. We improvise a story and then we press freeze, like pressing pause on a DVD, and we see the action as it's frozen. In fact, it's quite a good idea when you are devising and improvising performances to do that and to freeze your action and to just question yourself whether your body language or your gestures, your eye contact or your use of space are all you being used appropriately. Finally, I want you to be aware of some questions you should be asking yourself when you are making still images. Questions such as, where and how should you stand? What do I want the audience to think when they see me perform? What facial expressions should I hold to make sure I'm communicating my emotions to the character? This is a very important question. Where shall I place myself in relation to others? And is there any other way I could hold myself? Are there any alternatives?